Welcome to the Ghost Babes podcast where we talk about the paranormal. I'm Matilda Crow and I'm with my co-host Janie Slash, and today we are talking about cryptids. So Janie, I know your favorite cryptid is the Bigfoot or the Sasquatch, correct?
Correct.
And I like your little Sasquatch buddy there.
He makes noises and throws temper tantrums.
Oh, he's cute. My favorite is Mothman. He is behind me in many forms. There's like 2 plushies of him behind me.
I believe it. Anytime I see Mothman stuff, I always buy it for you too.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And then my second favorite is the Fresno crawlers. Because they look really funny. That's the only reason.
They are really goofy. I've never seen what they actually look like. I've only seen well, I guess cryptids, you don't really see what they actually look like. I've only seen the goofy
there's video of them.
drawings. Is there? Are they a cryptid if there's video? Because cryptids are all about hidden animals.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of videos of Bigfoot, too, in the wild. And I don't think there's any of Mothman that are noteworthy, but...
Disproven.
Well, true.
A lot of the people that even have the evidence of Bigfoot have been proven that it's a mask in a suit.
Oh, yeah.
And they've been real weird about it. It's just to make it usually a little bit of an extra buck. Most people find evidence more than actual sightings.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm amazed by what people will go through in order to get famous. It just boggles my mind. But then again, you like look on TikTok and you see how many people like do stupid shit to go viral, and then you're like, I get it.
But I love the idea of Bigfoot, and I love the stuff that he puts out.
Yeah.
And I love the people that are willing to stretch the truth so much to believe, to make it seem logical or real.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Did you see the recent... I think I sent it to you, the article where the 2 guys on, I think it was Christmas Eve, went to go look for Bigfoot in Oregon, and they ended up dying of exposure overnight?
Horrible.
It is horrible. It is absolutely horrible. And
that's one of the things I'm sorry. I don't care.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to go cryptid hunting, please make sure you're wearing the correct equipment. Make sure you know where you are at all times, and also make sure to be safe and, just be safe about it, because we don't want...
Going squatching, it's called squatching.
Yes.
Can be incredibly dangerous.
Yes.
Because you're going usually in uncharted territory. It usually involves camping, and you never know what you're going to find out in those woods.
Yeah.
Could be a whole lot more than just a Bigfoot. Could be a bear, depending on where you're going. Could be not so great people with the best of intentions. Always best to be careful and never go alone. Always take a group of people.
Yeah, and always wear a hunting vest just in case, because you don't want to get shot by hunters either. So.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Especially when you're looking for Bigfoot. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be
a
scary.
fun, goofy time. Have fun.
I met a group of lady Bigfoot hunters, or squatchers, I guess. Not hunters, but squatchers. And they go camping together. She was telling me they don't take weapons, though, because she said the Bigfoot can sense weapons. And if they went weapon-free, the Bigfoot would leave them alone. They knew they were just out there to observe and not to engage. And they weren't of any risk of harm to them.
I guess that would make sense if the weapons were visible. But, like, what about bear mace? Would that be fine?
I feel like I would want to bring bear mace, but that's not protect you from Bigfoot. That's protect you from bears.
That's true.
And they were saying that they would hear commotion at night. They could hear the Bigfoots like making calling noise, like making calls and different types of sounds. And they said that they would wake up and there would be all these saplings that were bent over and then had like a log between them. And they said that's how they marked their territory or showed that they were there. So they'd wake up and all these like saplings would be bent over, and they said that nothing of normal strength could do that. So it had to be a Bigfoot.
Yeah, that sounds like something big did that. So the Sasquatch fucked shit up. It was
Funny
big.
enough, A lot of the Bigfoot prints have been discovered to be bare feet.
That makes sense.
Talking about bear mace.
Yeah, that
Not
makes
all of
sense.
it. But
Yeah.
I do love the Bigfoot prints.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
no.
always love to go see the artifacts and the evidence and the fossils and things like that whenever you go to certain museums. Like there's a great museum in Falk, Arkansas called the Monster Mart, and they've got
Nice.
some Bigfoot tracks and different types of Bigfoot type statues and things of that nature. And you can buy some really cool Bigfoot gear
Oh.
and get you some Monster hot sauce while you're there, you know, and a
I,
T-shirt.
I
I got a
do.
sticker.
Ooh. I do.
Yeah,
I do love me some good hot sauce. That's a cute sticker. I like that.
Bigfoot just a little bit.
Yeah, the only Bigfoot I'm really familiar with is Boggy Creek and what they have demonstrated in Jefferson, Texas, and that's it.
Patterson Gimlin footage.
The what footage?
The Patterson Gimlin footage. Or so it's actually this image right here on my shirt. You're
Oh,
not
yes,
familiar with
yes.
this?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I'm just saying, like, location wise. I'm only
Yeah,
familiar.
so
Yeah.
that is one of the most famous videos of Bigfoot captures. A lot of people actually debate to this day whether it's real or not because they say they can see muscle definition and movement in the video that would not be shown through a costume.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it would be, we have so much forest that's not explored, and a lot of it, is national forests and stuff like that. So I would be surprised if something like that was not living
Well,
in
and they
that.
say that Bigfoot tend to stick where the water is. Like they tend to travel along water.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then they've been around as long as Lewis and Clark. Like back when they were doing the Lewis and Clark expedition and all that stuff, they've been around as long as that.
Dang.
Mhm.
Well, it's kind of like the Florida Panthers. There used to be panthers all over Florida. And then
Yeah.
as soon as like civilization moved in there and developed it, there's only been like one or two sightings as of
Mhm.
recent history. It's craziness.
It is. It's wild. I would love to have a Bigfoot sighting. I've traveled all throughout, some of the Midwest, and then also through Arkansas, and I've gone camping in Texas, and I've never seen any evidence. But that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it's not real. I'm very hopeful that someday we will discover a Bigfoot.
Well, I would imagine it's kind of like tornado chasing, where the conditions might be perfect to see one, but it doesn't mean you're going to see one that day, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I remember we went and saw Boggy Creek at the Texas Theater.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Such a fun time.
uh, the. Was it the outhouse scene where the dude makes the weird yelling noise? I can't remember.
Think so. I think so. And then the door. There was something about the door getting busted in.
Oh, yeah!
Hmm.
He Kool-Aided the front door or something.
It like started off kind of spooky and then it ended up just going completely off the rails where you're like, "What? What the
It
hell?"
went B-rated real quick. Real
There
quick.
Bigfoot few there's he's made his appearance and, cinema a few times. That probably wasn't his finest moment, but that was a fun moment. And it was, supposedly based off of a true story.
Yeah.
And then I think there was a story in Arkansas where somebody shot somebody thinking they were a Bigfoot. Like it was a mistake. They were walking
Yikes.
along the highway and they thought they were a Bigfoot and they shot them.
See, this is why you should wear a hunting vest.
Mhm. And they swore they were like, there was a Bigfoot there. And it was.
I think that was a cover story. I think they wanted to shoot somebody and they just did.
I saw the Bigfoot. I know it was there. I'd be like, no, no, you messed up.
Yup.
He's not a good alibi. Not at all. So, tell me about the Fresno crawlers.
Well, the Fresno crawlers are from Fresno, California.
Hmm.
They look like armless bodies with really long legs, and they're wearing pants. That is the funniest part about them, is most cryptids are not wearing pants. This is the only cryptid in North America that wears pants. Not even the Jersey Devil wears pants.
So why would they wear pants?
I don't know. I think the whole there's a theory that they're alien in nature. And
Like aliens.
yeah, I guess aliens could wear clothing. That would make sense to me because they would be humanoid, right?
Be like us then.
Yeah, they would be a little bit like us. Um, but yeah, there's the cryptids started with video. There was a video taken of them walking across somebody's yard. They had a security camera on the front of their house, and the security camera picked them up, and it looks like exactly what's on my shirt. It's just like a little round head, a little bit of a torso, and then long legs, and they were like hobbling across the yard. It's they look cute. It doesn't look scary at all. They just look really cute.
The Fresno crawl. I'm gonna look them up.
Look them up.
I'm looking them up.
I'll insert the video on the edit, but
Okay.
it's just
Oh, what the hell is that?
yeah, exactly.
Also, they're like short.
Yeah, they're real
But
short.
are they technically a cryptid if we can? They're a humanoid.
Yeah, well, some cryptids are
Yeah.
humanoid, like the Jersey Devil's half human, the Goat Man is half human. So,
Devil is such a fun story, too. I don't know the full entire story, but those woods are so scary. That is not a cryptid I would dare to go after.
yeah, the Fresno crawlers are actually the most recent cryptid in US history.
See them? Is there just, you can't really go looking for them, they just kind of appear?
Yeah, they just appeared one day and then I don't think there's been many sightings after that. It was just kind of like a weird one-off thing that happened.
Kind of like the Marfalites.
Yeah, kind of like the Marfalites or I'm trying to think of another like a snaily-gaster from West Virginia. Like most people don't talk about it anymore because there hasn't been sightings.
I've never even heard of that. I don't even know what that is. That's really
A
cool.
snaily-gaster is part. It's like part lizard, human, snail thing, and they have these
Oh,
large mouths with long tongues, and apparently they would like eat people's children or something like that, if I remember correctly.
so one ate somebody's children? Is that her child, I guess?
It's like so basically a big part of West Virginia was settled by people from um, Germany and Sweden, and they have this cryptid in their lore, and
Yeah.
it kind of just came over with them.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, question.
Hmm.
Do you believe chupacabras are real?
I think they're real in the sense of it's probably an animal that's hairless with rabies.
The Yeti.
What about the Yeti? Um, I think I wouldn't dismiss a Yeti because again, just like the forest, mountains are pretty unexplored as well, just because of the harsh environment.
It's interesting about the chupacabra because of all the evidence of goats, being sucked dry of their blood and things of that nature. That they're like, it had to be a chupacabra. And there's a lot of, like you're saying, like with the Fresno crawlers, there's a lot of video and photo evidence of chupacabras. But like you said, it's always this weird type of footage where you're like, that could just be a hairless dog with rabies.
It could be. It could be. Well, it's like that one thing that washed up on the beach. It ended up being like a partially decayed capybara, and people thought it was a
Capybara.
chupacabra.
Fiji mermaid, you know, it's not a real thing. It's, something that they created.
True.
I
I
love
just
Fiji
I just find it
mermaids.
fascinating what humans will come up with for
Yeah,
a good
where did we
story.
even come up with the imagery for Bigfoot?
I don't know. Well, I mean, Bigfoot I can see because Bigfoot's like a mix between us and a gorilla, right? It's kind of like, but it's just twice as tall, right? Um, so I can see that happening because, like, imagine going to somewhere that has, apes of some sort and seeing them for the first time, that would like trip you out. Be terrified if I saw an animal for the first time and I didn't know what it was, but it looked sort of human. I would be terrified. I'd be like, "What the fuck is
Terrified I
that?"
saw a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when we go paranormal investigating. I'm always like, oh, I hope I see a ghost, and I'm like, I also hope I don't see a ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
I'm always like, not while I'm sleeping. Don't sneak up on me. I have conditions. I have rules and conditions of how I would like to be startled, or how I would like things that I don't know if they're real or not to show themselves to me.
Yeah, seeing ghosts, I don't think would freak me out as much as like being touched by one.
Yeah, I don't go through that again.
No.
Not at
Mm-mm.
all. That was a horrible experience.
Being touched by something that you cannot see is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, especially it really catches you off guard, and it's horrifying to not be able to know what happened or what that was.
Yeah. I've had somebody ask me before what it's like to go ghost hunting or cryptid hunting or whatever, and I tell them it's 90% boring and then 10% fun. Cause like,
Somebody that you like to hang out with, because it's going to
yeah,
be a lot of time in the dark alone with somebody. Also,
yeah,
somebody that can kick something's ass if needed.
that's
That's why
true.
we have you,
That's true.
and
Very true.
I'm just there.
You're not just there. You help. You help a lot. Yeah, the ghosts like to fuck with you,
Scaredy.
so you help a
I'm the
lot.
scaredy cat of the group.
The ghosts like to fuck with you, so it helps a lot. It brings them
Scared.
out.
Because I'm scared.
You're like the Aaron of the group, like from Ghost Adventures. Aaron, they always put Aaron in the scariest situations
You're
possible.
like, please go do that. I'm always like, no, I don't want to. And you're like, do it. And I'm like, okay. And then I sit in there and I'm like, please don't. Please don't.
But yeah, I just no, I'm
Hey,
kidding,
I,
but
I gotta serve some purpose, okay?
I'm usually the one that's like, yeah, I'll go do it. I don't give a shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
you're
go in
not
there.
afraid.
Yeah,
You're
no,
not afraid.
I'm
I
not.
am afraid. I'm always afraid. But it's not fun if we were both brave.
That's true. That's true. Uh, yeah, it, I've just never been scared of the paranormal. Now, if something like more threatening happened, sure, I would get scared. But going into it right away, I'm not scared. But that's because I just kind of like be like, oh, if something happens, it happens. I just accept it, you know?
True. I actually wanted to be a cryptozoologist before I got into burlesque performing and being a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
I'd always wanted to be a paranormal investigator, but it seemed less accessible, and so I was like, "Ooh, cryptozoology seems interesting, and it is kind of fun, especially since I really like animals."
I almost
And
took a
like different animals.
parapsychology class once. And
Really?
yeah. And problem was it was all the way at the university in Portland, Oregon. I forget which university that is, but when I was first looking at colleges, I was looking at going there if I was going to go out of state, and they did have parapsychology classes out there. And I was like, that would be interesting. And then I just ended up going to, Texas Women's and staying local, which they just had boring classes like sociology. So, so, but I would like,
And psychology.
yeah, I would like to learn more about parapsychology at some point. I'm sure there's free classes online somewhere.
Probably. I would assume so, especially with how much the paranormal and just different like cryptids and paranormal and even the divination and things like that are growing and becoming more popular. There's more and more things and knowledge is more easily accessible because there's more people taking interest in it.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Um,
I only really know tarot, so as far as divination.
I learned something new about Mothman recently. I learned that shortly after the sightings and when the author of the Mothman prophecies, not the movie, the book, right? Um, was doing her research and writing and all that, and all the journalists that
Hmm.
covered Mothman, they all got visited by the Men in Black. I did not know that until recently, when I think the History Channel or something did like a documentary on it recently, and they were interviewing a bunch of the journalists in the area that like covered Mothman sightings, and as well as the woman who wrote Mothman prophecies, and they were talking about how like yeah, the Men in Black would visit them and be like, "What research do you have?" And they'd be like, none of your business."
A Bigfoot investigator that believes that Bigfoot braid hair.
You
That
met.
they find horses and they braid horse manes and horse tails.
Hold on, can you repeat that because your microphone
Sorry.
cut out at the very beginning of it? You said
Okay. There's a Bigfoot enthusiast or
okay.
investigator. He's supposed to be a pretty big deal, who believes that Bigfoot sneaks onto different types of farms and will braid horse manes or horse tails. So the Bigfoot can braid hair. And I went to this museum and they had locks of this hair, and they didn't particularly look braided. They looked a little bit more ratted or knotted. But
Okay.
maybe time passed and maybe the braids came undone. You know, when you cut those type of things out, they don't always stay. We know how hair braids work.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of a Bigfoot just sitting in a field and being like, "Hey, calm down, horse. Let me just braid your hair." Like, I just love that. Like
Uh
it's some type of sleepover or something. Or they're just talking shit about, the farm and things going on, or maybe other horses and other Bigfoot.
so does that mean they braid each other's hair too?
Maybe, I don't think horses could braid hair.
No, I
It'd be
meant
really hard with the
if
hoofs.
a Bigfoot met another Bigfoot, could they braid each other's hair?
Yeah, I assume so. I mean, where else did they learn? So does this also mean that Bigfoot have, if that's true, that Bigfoot have really amazing like horse whisperer skills? Because I can't imagine that a horse is going to let you walk up to him and be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm a Bigfoot. I'm
I
here. Can I braid your hair?"
As someone who's been around horses for the majority of their childhood, I have to say horses are pretty freaking skittish. Uh, I don't know if they'd be down for that.
So do Bigfoot have like horse whispering skills?
Maybe they're natural allies, like capybaras and any other animal. You know,
Yeah.
maybe they're
Also
like
would love
that.
the idea of a Bigfoot trying to take a horse for a ride.
That that would be hilarious to me because
Like
he's.
that's not a thing I've heard of happening, but just being like, "Hey, you know."
I I don't know. I'm trying to imagine it in my head, and I would have to say that would have to be like a big horse, like a Clydesdale, for that to
Right,
work.
right. Because Bigfoot's pretty big. Maybe it's a baby Bigfoot. Or maybe female
Maybe.
Bigfoot are smaller or something, and it's a female Bigfoot. I mean, male Bigfoot can braid too. Whoever wants to braid hair, go for it.
Well, yeah. But
Uh,
I'm just saying, logistically, I think a stronger horse would be a good riding horse for Bigfoot. I like how we're debating what horse would be good for Bigfoot.
Slightly off topic, but still on topic of horses. Did you ever hear about Lady Wonder? I believe that was her name. The horse that could predict the future.
I've heard. I don't remember the name, so you bringing that up didn't remind me. But you saying that a horse predicted. Yes, I've heard of that. Yes.
I believe it was Lady Wonder. So during the pandemic, I took up a habit of, yeah, Lady Wonder. She was the psychic horse. She could also perform arithmetic. But during the pandemic, I took up a habit of watching Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction, talking about things that may or may not have happened. And Lady
Yeah.
Wonder was one of them, one of the stories. But yeah, apparently I think she was disproven. She was trained really well and just happened to be lucky or something. But yeah, she could also perform arithmetic. Like she was a really smart horse.
Man.
So maybe Bigfoot was whispering Lady Wonder, answers or something.
Probably. Probably. I don't know. Like horses and elephants tend to have a very high IQ for land animals, and then dolphins are the ones under the sea that have the highest IQ, I believe.
Dolphins are what?
Dolphins have the highest IQ under the sea that we know of.
Do you follow, or have you ever followed this YouTuber named, her YouTube channel is Glam and Gore?
Yes.
Okay, did
Yes.
you see when she did she picked locations, like haunted locations,
Hmm.
and she did makeup looks based off of those haunted locations? Like different things that would be in those locations. Like she did like Jerome, a prison in Jerome, and she made herself like a haunted inmate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
she did the Jersey Devil. And she went to the Pine Barrens
Oh, okay, gotcha.
and like camped out there and did full Jersey Devil makeup. It was amazing in the Pine Barrens at night.
She's brave. If somebody ran into
Yeah.
her, they probably would have called the police on her.
Well, also that place is so dangerous. The
It
Pine
is.
Barrens is not a place that you should go. I mean, at least I think she's out there with a few people because she had somebody filming her, but
Oh, well,
still, like,
yeah.
that place is so
Well,
scary.
she probably had, like, a couple of guys with her, too. Just kind of, like, keep point, you
Yeah,
know?
but still, if you stumble across the wrong person. I was actually having a
Um,
conversation about that today, about going to different locations. What's made paranormal investigating so difficult is that we can't just go anywhere anymore.
yep.
And obtaining the rights to film anywhere is super hard. And we don't go places we're not allowed to go because of danger.
True. Yes.
Not even just the trespassing, the potential of getting a ticket for trespassing, it's the potential of running into somebody that has not so great intentions.
Yeah, like
Themselves
squatters
in a
or.
bad situation. Yeah.
Yeah. I just. I just hate how corporate the ghost tourism has become these days. Like, it's very by the book. It's very. You can either, a lot of them are going where you can't film there unless you pay them extra. And I understand why, because
Even stay there if you're going to film.
yeah, and I understand why, because I have seen TikToks and stuff of people going to well known places that are paranormal or whatever and seeing like the destruction after somebody's been there of like vandalization and all that. I get that. I totally get that. Um but also like I hate that one person ruins it for everybody else, you know?
People like us who are just going out there to investigate. We're not messing anything up. We're not pissing anything off or trying to. We're not trying to, at least.
Yeah.
We're very respectful of people's places. It's very disappointing that it's become so tough to be able to film.
Yeah, these days it's more of if you don't have like a really well-known YouTube channel or a TV show associated with you, most places won't let you film anymore, and it's craziness to me. Either that or you have to get an expensive insurance policy to cover yourself.
So much money just to do the channel
Yeah,
that
takes a
we
lot
can't
of
cover
money.
anything like that.
No.
And it's not super impressive to be in a hotel room in a hotel filming an episode either. And you have to be quiet
No.
because the hotel, you might get in trouble at the hotel too.
Yeah, you would have to rent out a whole floor or the whole hotel for the night, and that would be ridiculous amounts of money. I can't imagine doing that unless that was a full time job of ours and we got sponsored or something. I couldn't see us doing that.
Like the Stanley, and you have a very specific room that's supposed to be very haunted, then maybe something like that would work with some B-roll footage.
Oh yeah,
But I don't actually think the Stanley's haunted.
the Stanley is very pretty. It's a pretty
It's
hotel.
beautiful.
It's in a pretty area. It definitely has like that vibe of being isolated out there, which I get where the paranormal stuff comes from. But yeah, most people who have gone there that I know personally have said they had not had any paranormal sightings or any experiences.
On the tour, it felt like they were really stretching the truth just to fill a 45-minute tour
Oh
or an hour
yeah.
and a half or whatever it was.
That's another thing about ghost tourism that I've really noticed is that a lot of ghost tours that I've taken in different cities, Like there's a lot of things because I do my own research before I go.
Yeah.
A lot of those tours will tell you a bunch of stuff that's like, where are you getting this from? Like I took one in Mineral Wells. Uh, it was for my sister in law's birthday or something like that. And
Your hotel one?
girl, girl, she told a bunch of stuff that I was like, no, no, that's not how that happened. Like she was trying to talk about that old, not the hospital. She didn't even mention the hospital. The hospital's really haunted. We were right there too. And I was,
Nazareth Hospital? Is that the one you're talking about?
yeah, it's the big one, not the smaller one from the
Or
1800s, but
the
it's the bigger one.
well,
It's the one with the smokestack in the back for they used to cremate bodies there.
I think I went there.
Yeah, they it
I
used to
went urban
be.
exploring there.
Yeah,
One, I went urban exploring somewhere in Mineral Wells. It was an old hospital.
yeah, that might have been it because the smaller one just looks like a house, like like most hospitals back in the 1800s looked like when you were first starting a town. They all look like a house. Um, so she went to the one that looks like a house, and I forget the name of that one. But she was talking about how like the upside down crosses on the house means that they were like sacrificing babies there and stuff like that. And I was like, the upside down cross was used in architecture for a very long time, and it had nothing to do with Satanism. But okay, lady, pop off, I guess.
It's it's a part of religion.
Yeah, yeah, it's Judas's cross. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I, 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 I was just very confused by that. And she was talking about how the wife of the doctor who owned that hospital, like it only had like 6 rooms in it, right? Um, was sacrificing these babies that were being born so she could have her own child. And I was like, that makes no damn sense because why wouldn't she just steal a kid?
Make any sense either.
Yeah,
It's interesting. So I did some research because I was doing a talk back in October last year for this women's group, and they wanted me to touch on haunted. Like they were in, it was an antique group, so they wanted like haunted old places, essentially like antique type, really cool old houses. So I was researching some places. It's supposed to be mostly Houston, but I couldn't. Houston's eh. And there's some really cool haunted places in Houston, but the history isn't as like known. As, so I did a lot of the Jefferson places, and I even touched base on Mineral Wells.
yeah.
I couldn't find a lot from Mineral Wells, even the Hill House, which I know is haunted and we've been there, but I still couldn't find a lot of history about it,
Yeah, the problem with
or specific hauntings or ghosts, or also the Baker Hotel. Like I know a lot of shady things happen. I did find some evidence of a few deaths and things of that nature, but nothing that really makes it a big haunted hotspot.
yeah, a problem with a lot of the smaller towns in Texas is that they weren't very good at record keeping as far as crime goes or anything like that. And also, we were the start of the Wild West, so a lot of those small towns didn't even have law in them when they first started. So,
And so interesting.
yeah,
But
it's
Jefferson's much more, there's much more record of things there. Like it's a lot easier to find evidence of hauntings in Jefferson.
yeah,
And people actually talk about the stories and they pass them down, whereas Mineral Wells, there's so little there. It was very hard to write like a report on or come up with things to talk, like talking points.
yeah. The Jefferson Hotel there, that we stayed at, I forget the name of it. It was historic Jefferson Hotel, right?
Historic, we stayed at the historic Jefferson Hotel, and we've also stayed at the Consaloon.
Okay, I think it was the historic one, but that
Hmm.
one was a cool hotel. Like whether you
Well,
believe in the paranormal or not, that was the coolest hotel I've ever stayed
it
in.
has so much history too. It
Hmm.
goes, I mean, like there's even like a hidden speakeasy door.
Yeah, yeah,
And
no,
it used to be, I think, called like the Golden Palace or something, and it was an old bar during like the swing time and stuff like that. And it was there for the beginning of Prohibition and the end of Prohibition, and it shut down for a little while and then reopened. So it's like there's a lot of documented history about the Jefferson Hotel.
yeah, no,
And the people that run that hotel are wonderful.
yeah, no, they were great.
They're definitely a rare gem, but they're also a part of the paranormal community, which I think is what makes it so great. But I did notice that they've shut off. You can't go to the disappointments room anymore.
Did somebody do something up there?
No idea, but they said it wasn't. Like they showed it and they talked about it, but they were like it's not open for it to the public or open to look at or anything like that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Wasn't that the room that one of our fans did a still shot of our episode there, and that was the little girl ghost photo they found?
Never saw that.
You never saw that? I thought you did because I thought you sent it to me. Maybe they sent it to me directly. I don't know. If I
Like
find
I
it,
never saw anything. Yeah, if you find it, show it to me because that'd be
yeah.
interesting.
If I find
Because
it
there's
again,
a
I'll
lot of
send it to you.
stuff in that attic.
Yeah, it was. That was craziness. That attic felt weird, dude. It felt
The attic's
weird.
not a fun place to be. I didn't want to look around when I was sitting there and on that bed. I didn't want to look around to see what was around me. I was just like, I'm just gonna look forward.
I just I don't know what it is about attics and basements that make them so creepy. I guess because like people don't usually inhabit them. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the fact that there's negative space. I don't know. But I've been in plenty of attics. I'm not proud of that, but I've been in plenty of attics, and no attic felt like that before.
Normal attic. Like, there was nothing special about it other than that it had a disappointments room in it. But you could tell, like, even just going up there, excuse me, sorry, the heaviness of it all. Like, it just felt so heavy. And then you would go back downstairs and you're like, oh, it's dissipated. It's not as heavy. But I really do think it was the girl from the Pride House that we were talking to in the disappointments room.
Probably because after the Pride House, it burned down. Correct, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it burned down, and some of the furniture went up for auction, I believe, is how they obtained it, and they've moved it all into that room that we stayed in,
Yeah.
and I think that the little girl moved over with it because
Yeah.
apparently the whistler moved to the carriage house because the carriage house didn't burn down. I believe it's called the carriage house,
Yeah.
and it didn't burn down, and they said they could hear the whistler at night whistling because the house was haunted by a whistler who would whistle and walk up and down the halls and would have heavy footsteps. And then a little girl named Jenny, who burned alive there. And then also Mr. Bender, who was the former owner. None of them, except maybe the Whistler, I think, which is more of a shadow man type haunting, were malevolent.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, not malevolent, but do you mean oh God, I can't talk today.
was that what you think of benevolent? Is that what you've
Yeah,
been trying to
yeah,
say?
yeah.
Maybe? I don't know. Let me look it up to make sure.
Malevolent means they mean harm.
Yeah, I said none of them were malevolent.
Oh, I thought you said they were. Sorry,
That's
my
why all
bad.
of a sudden I was confused.
My
I was
bad.
like, well, I didn't. I should have said they were benevolent. Yes, but I said none of them were malevolent.
That was my bad.
And then I
Sorry.
was like, maybe I don't know what that word means, but I googled it. Yes. I don't know. Maybe the Shadow Man. I don't know. I didn't really hear anything bad. I heard he was kind of scary. I don't like Shadow Men. They're my least favorite. I don't like things that wear hats. I stay away from things in hats.
Shadowman, the Hat Man's my favorite because it's the most misunderstood out of all of them.
Why are hat men your favorite? They terrify me.
Hatmen
Are
are.
they in top hats or are they in bowler hats?
It doesn't matter.
As long as they're not in ball caps.
Yeah, then they're just a douche. No, just kidding. No, Hatmen are my favorite because in old Celtic lore, I believe, Hatmen are observers. That's all they do. They just observe. They're just there to observe. I wouldn't say stalker is a
So they're
good.
just checking out my ass.
No, they're more like omnipotent observers, meaning they don't care about you. They're just there to observe what's about to happen.
Oh. I don't want someone to observe me.
I get that.
I say that as I am a performer for a living.
Well, that's
So all I do is put myself on stage for people to observe me.
so what you're really saying is you don't want to be voyeured.
Yeah, I guess, but that's
Yeah.
technically still something that I You kind of.
No, voyeurism is watching without permission.
I don't want to be voyeured. I also don't want to be woken up by ghosts when I'm sleeping.
That's true. That creeps me out. Like if a hat man
So
was over my bed, yeah, I'd be creeped out. But if I just saw him in like an environment I was in and I was wide awake, I would not be creeped out. I'd be like, "Hey, hat man, what's up?"
I have a friend's house that I stay at when I'm traveling sometimes, and it's haunted. I swear it's haunted because I have felt like things have watched me while I've been there alone, and also I woke up one night to something whispering in my ear. It was like, and so every time I stay there, I always, because I'm weird, I sleep with like the lamp on, music, calming white noise music, an eye mask,
Okay.
and earbuds.
Okay.
And then I sleep with the blanket over my head.
All right then.
So if I wake up, I won't see anything.
There you go. Because that's not
So
more
ghosts
terrifying.
aren't real. Ghosts aren't real. The worst is when you wake up sweating and you need to adjust the fan and you're like, I don't want to do that in the middle of the night.
Someone's gonna clip you saying ghosts aren't real and use it against you one day.
What?
I said I can see somebody clipping that. Clipping it means record. Clip that
Hmm.
that soundbite of you saying ghosts aren't real. I can see somebody doing that now.
Being while I'm sleeping.
Just to clarify, we do believe ghosts are real. We just believe that a lot of sightings of or experiences of ghosts can be easily explained.
Real. I thought I said ghosts are real. Maybe you thought I said ghosts aren't real.
It's
Now they're
sound.
gonna do that.
It's
No, I
sound.
said ghosts. I said ghosts are real. I'm a little nasally. I got allergies. Ooh, I've been drinking lots of tea in my cute little capybara mug
There you go.
because I like capybaras. But apparently, if they're half dead, they look like chupacabras.
I have. Yeah, that's true. Weren't we supposed to be talking about cryptids? How do we get?
Yeah, I'm a bit ADD lately, so
It's okay. For future episodes, we promise to have an agenda and everything. This is just a pilot episode to test our equipment and make sure everything's good and, test my editing skills again. But yeah, our second episode would be way more organized, I promise.
we did talk about cryptids. We talked about how they braid hair and how they whisper to horses.
That's true.
How they so back on topic, I I watched the Mothman prophecies when I was in high school
Ooh.
for the first time,
Mhm.
and it scared me
Mhm.
because the movie didn't scare me. Okay, so movies don't often scare me.
Yeah.
It's my imagination later that scares me.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. Yeah.
I'm the most confusing person ever because I very much love going paranormal investigating, but I'm also very scared of everything. I've always been that way my entire life. I love horror movies. I love scary everything, but like I scare myself all the time. It's quite funny. So I watched the Mothman Prophecies right before I went camping
Mhm.
for like 4 days out in the woods. It was a terrible idea. Anything I saw that looked like red eyes
Oh.
was
Oh.
just I didn't want to go outside at night.
You
So
made
that
yourself
was
get
big
paranoid.
dumb. I do that. I do that.
That's
I
like
also don't want to go to the bathroom alone at haunted places. I'll be like, come talk to me through the door, or I'm
oh
going to leave this open.
well that I get. That I get because you're in an unfamiliar space and that can be scary alone.
To Miss Smalley's. Is it called Miss Smalley's?
The one in Fort Worth?
Yeah, the bed
Yeah.
and breakfast in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Well, they have a communal bathroom, so you can't really do. It's like one bathroom,
Yeah, I've stayed there
I think,
before. Yeah, yeah.
and a shower.
Yeah. And a tub, I believe, like a clawfoot
It's a
tub.
tub shower
Yeah.
with the shower curtains are like whoosh whoosh all the way around this clawfoot tub, which I love clawfoot tubs by the way. They're a staple in most haunted locations built in the 1800s
Yep.
or the early 19s or whatever. And there's like this little gap where a ghostie could stare at you through it.
Oh. I think I
Showering
remember
there
that. Yeah.
was the most terrifying thing ever. I was like, hey, to my partner at the time, I was like, hey, can you come sit on the toilet while I shower? Because I'm scared.
I don't blame you.
They were like, "You're a big girl," and then it turns out, never mind. But yeah, they were like, "You're a big girl, you can do it." And I was like, "I'm scared," but I don't think I actually saw any ghosts the whole time I was there. I think we got a less active room. I wanted the cowboy room where the cowboy lives,
Yeah.
but I didn't get the cowboy room. I was like, maybe he'll like come over to my room, and he didn't.
I when I stayed there with like a little cosplay group thing. Um and I don't remember any paranormal experiences, but half of the group I don't know what was happening that weekend, some sort of event or something on the stockyards, but they were like selling these big sangria boots. It was like a mug that looked like a cowboy boot, and they would have sangrias in them. And the girls drank like two or three of them, and I was like, "Girls, slow down. That's a lot." And so I didn't see any ghosts, but I definitely saw a bunch of girls get sick in that bathroom.
Did you take the ghost tour that went along with your stay at Miss Molly's?
I
Or
don't.
maybe they were. Maybe it wasn't her. There was a ghost tour that went along with a winery. I think Miss Molly, the lady that owned Miss Molly, was talking
I
not so nice things about the ghost tour.
I think that was
I
what.
think they had a problem going on.
I think that's what was. I think that's what we were doing when the sangria boots happened. I think that's what we were on. I
Yeah, it
was.
was like a winery tour and you got a glass of wine, but the ghost tour was not good.
Oh, I don't even remember the ghost tour at this point. I was so traumatized by watching middle-aged women throw up that I blocked that
Okay,
out of my memory.
so and I remember these things about it. They were trying, okay, they were trying really hard, but it was very not so defined facts. It was like somebody may have died here,
Oh
or
yeah.
this may have happened, or at
Oh
one point
yeah.
in history. And her boyfriend looked like Tom Hiddleston. That's all I remember.
Wait, was her boyfriend there, or did she say her boy?
No, her boyfriend was there, and me and this other group of girls kept saying this whole time, going, "Who does he look like? Who does he look like?" And then we figured it out.
I may need to take that ghost tour
That was
again.
like the best part of the ghost.
I may need to take that ghost tour again. Just
Like a
saying.
cowboy Tom Hiddleston, and I was
Oh
like, "Oh,
my Lanta. Excuse me?
he's kidding." Oh. But honestly, the best ghost tour I've ever done is the one in Jefferson. It's very well informed. There's so much information. Jefferson, if you are in Texas and you want to go to a haunted town and you want to take a really good ghost tour or go to a really awesome event, they have History, Haunts, and Legends, which we went to. Great event, especially if you're wanting to dip your toes into paranormal investigating. If you're interested in history as well, especially Texas history.
Yeah, that I was about to say that was one of the best ones I've been on. I've been on the one in New Orleans I took. Mind you, there's like
Great. It's New
10
Orleans, though.
there's like 10 of them, right? And there's all sorts of different people who lead them. But
Yeah,
uh
I can't remember what group I did. The cemetery tour was great because some of them you
yeah.
have to take to go into the cemetery because so many people have desecrated the cemetery or damaged them that you can't even just go into them.
Yeah, I did the French Quarter one probably for
I also
time reasons.
vampires in the French Quarter.
That
I
um
love the stories about the potential vampires in the French Quarter.
I don't know how I feel about that. The whole vampire thing in New Orleans. I don't know how I feel about that. I
I'm not a big fan of vampires.
I think I'm a fan of literary and film vampires. Not a big
But
fan about people pretending to be vampires.
well, no, I'm not talking about the pretend vampires. I'm talking about the stories about real vampires in New Orleans,
Oh, okay.
not vampire culture.
Well, I know
Um,
there's a huge vampire culture in New Orleans,
Yeah, there's
so
a huge vampire culture like everywhere at this point.
yeah. I'm
Um,
I'm not condemning
but
their lifestyle. I'm just saying
no,
like
it's not for you.
it's not for me. Yeah, it's not for me.
Unpopular opinion, and I'm probably gonna get roasted hard for this one. I don't like Anne Rice vampires.
You know what? You're not the first person to tell me that, and that's okay.
Um,
That is totally
I
okay.
do, I do think though that Queen of the Damned had a good soundtrack, and Lestat was hot, but that's about it. And Aaliyah was amazing, but the movie wasn't great.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big Interview with a Vampire fan. I'm not. the romancy type. I love Dracula.
There you go. You like the more horror aspect of it.
I don't want to be romanticized.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You want the romance to be minimal.
Mm,
Minimal.
the fearful part and the romance part. Like, I don't really fear any of Anne Rice's vampires. I respect her, just not a huge fan.
Are vampires considered a cryptid?
Sure, I guess they're more considered like a they're not an animal. See, cryptids are typically, well, cryptozoology is about zoology being animals and cryptid being hidden. So it's like cryptozoology is like hidden animals, things that you can't find or see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they're more, I guess, a part of not necessarily not the paranormal. I can't think of what I'm trying to say.
Because a werewolf would be a cryptid, right? Because they're an animal half the time.
Maybe, but I'm not sure. Let me look that up
I don't. I
because
don't.
I'm not sure.
I would think.
A lot of people, yes, a werewolf is considered a cryptid.
Oh, there we go. Speaking.
Also, shout out to the werewolf movie that's coming out.
Yeah, that's
The
what I was about to
Wolfman
say.
looks terrible.
It looks terrible to you?
Also, his wife, the actress playing his wife, looks like she's 12.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. That I do agree with. Yes.
I'm sure she's wonderful, but like it's weird to me to watch a 12-year-old. She's not 12, but somebody that looks
No,
12
yeah, yeah. She just
in that
has
role.
she just has severe baby face. I think that's
Yeah,
what it is. Yeah.
she's really pretty, and I bet it's just yes, vampires can be considered cryptids as well. There you go.
Oh, I thought so. So zombies would too. Cool.
We stayed on topic, kinda.
Yes, we did. I was wondering about that. I was like, I'm pretty sure vampires are
Uh,
cryptids.
though I will say, I am a big fan of Nosferatu. I love the 1922 film, and I love the lore behind it and how it came to be.
Yeah.
And I love Dracula. I'm a big, huge Bela Lugosi fan.
Dracula is great. Nosferatu is great. I do agree with you that some of the Anne Rice films and books, meh, meh. You know.
The Vampire is great too, which is a movie that came out in like the early 2000s with Willem Dafoe playing Max Schreck.
Uh
And they
huh.
made it to where what if they really did cast a vampire in that role because he was so believable in the 1922 film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that one.
What was the Nicolas Cage one where he's a vampire? I always forget the name of that film.
Renfield.
No, 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 no. No, where he thinks he's a vampire, but he's not.
See that one.
He goes, I'm a
Vampire and
vampire, I'm a vampire.
Kiss of the Vampire. Oh, what was that?
I can't remember. He may turn into a vampire, but like at the very beginning of it, he's like all silly
Kiss of
about it. Renfield was great. I liked Renfield, but
Renfield. It was great. I also really like Dracula Dead and Loving It
oh yeah,
with Leslie Nielsen.
yeah,
Vampire's Kiss,
Vampire's Kiss.
1988.
Yep, yep.
I love Nicolas Cage too. Unpopular opinion or popular opinion, depending on what it is.
I think that's a very popular opinion because he's so memeable. You know.
Oh, it's amazing. Sorry, that was me whispering. He's amazing.
I
No,
I think Nick Cage has a great portfolio, just fantastic portfolio. I don't think anyone can
wait.
beat him in that.
Willem Dafoe has a pretty good one too.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, a lot of character actors do.
We were talking about that when you reach that point of your career where you're like, I've done all this really amazing work. I've, been nominated for Academy Awards, whatever. I can be unhinged now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love when great actors take the most wildest roles.
Yeah, I think Brad Pitt's starting to. Well, he has been starting to do that recently, and of course Johnny
I think
Depp's been
it's
doing that
great.
forever now.
Yeah, for sure. For
Uh,
sure. You know what movie we watched the other night at home? I got home from watching Nosferatu and I was like, I just really want to watch Dracula 2000.
I was about to bring up Dracula 2000.
We rewatched it because I was talking about how much I love Gerard Butler in that movie. I was like,
Oh
he was
my
so
god.
hot.
I don't know what it is about early 2000s Gerard Butler, but he did something for me. He did something for me. I really appreciated him in Phantom of the Opera, Dracula 2000, and the Roman movie he was in. Oh, I can't hear you, sweetie.
It's a number. The Spart. Oh my god, I can't remember. Also, Rock and Rolla. He was great in Rock and Rolla.
Rock and
400,
roll. Yeah.
500, 400, 500.
I'm
What
trying to
was it?
remember. It's the one that he says, "This is Sparta" in it, and
Because I was a big Spartan racer for a long time.
oh,
And we used to be like, this is Sparta! and run. Oh, yeah. And then he was also in How to Train Your Dragon. 300. 300 is the number.
oh yeah, that's right, 300. Okay, that's probably
Yeah,
why I couldn't remember it. I can't math, so that's fine.
he was so dreamy.
He was. He was.
He was pretty good in Dracula.
He was.
2000.
Yeah.
They made sequels to that. I didn't watch it. I don't think he's in the
Yeah.
sequels, but they made sequels, and I was like, I didn't know they made sequels to this.
I like that one. I also liked Van Helsing. The early
With
2000s one with Kate Beckinsale in it.
Kate Beckinsale and Hugh Jackman. I wasn't a fan of it. I liked it stylistically. I think it's really pretty.
Yes, that's exactly
But
why I liked it.
it wasn't a great movie.
No, the story of it was kind of rushed and shit, but I really liked the aesthetic that they took
So,
of it.
Blade. Fucking love Blade. There's only one
Blade.
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 That's Wesley
Yeah.
Snipes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blade was so good.
Blade is
I
good.
loved Steven Dorff in it.
Yeah.
He was such a good villain.
What about Daybreakers? I loved Daybreakers.
Daybreak is good. Is that the Ethan Hawke one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was good. I'm not a fan of the nighttime one. What was the one where they're in Alaska or whatever?
Oh, 300 Days of Night.
Yeah, 30 Days of Night.
30 Days. Oh my god, I had 300 on the brain. Jesus Christ. 30
30
Days of
days,
Night.
30 Days of Night with Josh Hartnett, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That
I was not a
it
huge
was
fan of that one. It was boring.
too gory for me. I couldn't do it.
I love good gore. I'm a gore whore, but
It was realistic gore too. I just
it was not good. Maybe I need to rewatch it. But when I watched it at the time, I was like, it's boring. It's based off of a graphic novel that was really good.
yeah.
Changing topics. How do you feel about the new 28 Years Later coming out?
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good.
I did. I was a big fan of 28 Days Later. 28 Weeks Later was a little weaker,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
28 Days Later was solid.
I think I think there's not much they could do to ruin it, really, at this point. So much
I
time
mean,
has passed.
well, and I know that a lot of people were not fans of the more roided up zombies,
Oh yeah. I think
the rage zombies, but I love the rage zombies.
yeah, I like Rage Zombies because you know what's really boring is watching like 12 seasons of The Walking Dead where The Walking Dead doesn't walk faster than 1 mile per hour. That's freaking boring to me.
Then one of my favorite zombie movies is Day of the Dead. No, Dawn of the Dead. The remake of Dawn of the Dead. Day of the Dead is good too, but the remake of Dawn of the Dead, which was I think Zack Snyder directed
Yeah.
and written by God, what's his name? He just directed Suicide Squad.
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
He also made Slither, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, but it was really good. I thought it was
Yeah.
really good, and I loved all the characters in it, and I loved how they kept it going, and the weird zombie baby worked well. It was
Yeah.
really, really good. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to zombie movies, if they're like the slow kind, I'd rather it be an older movie than a newer one.
The original Night of the Living Dead is amazing, and
Yeah.
even White Zombie with Bela Lugosi is great too, with the more Haitian style zombies.
I'm coming for you, Barbara.
So spooky.
It's just got such good lines in it.
Hmm
Such
Yeah,
good
it's
lines.
very, very quotable. And I love all of the like hidden messages and different overlying themes of course George Romero's movies. They're actually making a new one. I think they're taking a script that he had started
Yeah.
and they're finishing it, like flushing it out and finishing it, and they're going to direct it. So there should be another one in the series coming out soon. I forget what it's called, but they're working on it. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
I used to be a big zombie movie fan, and then I've kind of drifted away from it, and I've more moved into just slasher film.
I think The Walking Dead really killed zombies for me.
Same. And
I,
paranormal movies scare the shit out of me. I don't like watching paranormal movies, but there's a new one that just came out that I'm interested in.
yeah, God, what's the name of it?
Steven Soderbergh's movie. It's called Presence.
Presence. Yes, I want to see that so bad because it looks like a more realistic take of a haunting.
He's been doing a lot of really more realistic movies. Because hasn't he just put out a couple? No, maybe not. He's got another movie coming out too. I don't remember what
Um,
it's called though. His movies are
Affleck's
really good though.
Affleck's brother did a really good. I mean, it's really artsy. It might be boring to some people, but I found it fascinating. Was a ghost story. Um, Ben Affleck's brother filmed it, and it was a ghost story through the eyes of the ghost, like the POV of the ghost.
Hmm.
Of
Yeah,
like,
I think that story. I think there was a lot of controversy behind the filming of that story, or that movie.
I remember something like that
Like
happening.
the set wasn't great.
Yeah, I don't remember. Uh,
It wasn't directed by Ben Affleck's brother. It was directed by somebody named David Lowery. But
somehow,
it's
somehow,
91% fresh.
maybe it was produced by Ben. I can't remember.
Maybe.
Somebody said, I don't know. They were talking about.
'Cause I think you were watching that when we were in Galveston.
Yes, yes, that's what I was watching. Because I was like, ah, this is crazy. Um, but yeah, I thought the whole like time loop thing for ghosts was pretty cool. In that it was a
Hmm.
cool little like they can see the past and they can see the future and all because it makes sense because they're not bound by our rules anymore. They're not
No.
physical anymore.
Yeah, well, and especially trying to go and think a little more broader and outside of the box, you can do that because there's nothing really
Yeah,
defined.
and I also liked that it was a modern ghost, not somebody
It's
from the 1800s or whatever.
yeah. It's
It
like
was,
it's really interesting because you really it's something you won't really know a lot about until you experience
mhm.
it yourself.
Yeah, and the sheets that the ghosts wore were the sheets they like if they died in bed, like that was their sheet, or if like they were discovered, it was like a white sheet. So
Okay.
the lady across the way from him, in the other house that he could see into, she wore a flowery sheet because that's she died in her bed.
Be a ghost sheet.
Yeah, so always
'Cause
make
I have
sure your sheets are clean because you don't want to
yeah,
end up with a dirty sheet when
I
you're
have
dead.
ghost sheets. They're pink and they have little ghosts on
Ooh,
them.
that would be
I also
awesome.
have Grogu sheets, blood splattered sheets,
Oh.
Day of the Dead sheets. So like it's a toss up.
You're gonna be in the afterlife in style.
I'm gonna be styling.
You're gonna be styling. I'm gonna be boring. I only have like gray sheets and white sheets and black sheets, and that's it. Is there anything else we want to bring up before we log off?
I don't think so. Unless we know what we're gonna talk about next episode.
Well, next episode will be a surprise. We'll do some research and collaborate.
Creepy pastas.
Collaboration.
I'm voting creepy pastas. Or
But
horror.
yeah, yeah. The we'll fine tune this podcast as we go along and
A
find a format
day.
that works for us and for the audience. And so yeah, if you have any input or anything, feel free to comment and let us know. If you
A
have any,
Bigfoot.
oh yeah, leave a Bigfoot. Um, if if you have any requests for things for us to talk about, you can also put that in the comments as well. So yeah, I think this was a successful first episode, and we hope to see you next time. Bye bye.